my great honor and privilege to nominate the next President of the United States, Ronald Reagan.
The nomination and subsequent election of Ronald Reagan and the election of a conservative Congress brought the new Christian right into the forefront of the American political scene. National organizations like Moral Majority and dozens of smaller groups urged voters to consider moral and biblical issues in choosing a candidate. Since the election, the new Christian right has remained busy. This is a Georgia group, MOM, or Mothers on the March. They joined pro-life forces from around the country for a march on Washington earlier this year. Organizations like MOM, although not directly affiliated with Moral Majority or other national groups, are considered the backbone of the Christian movement. Businesses always lobbied government, and so have people with moral concerns. Not long ago, those with a moral objection to the Vietnam War tried to influence government. 60 years ago, those who opposed drinking on moral grounds influenced the government very effectively. So while the controversy now is the new right becomes heavily involved in politics.
No, it's not a new thing, because there has been religious influence on American society from the, not only from the beginning of the Republic, but from the beginning of the colonies as well. If they are violating church-state separation at any point, it is in their insistence that all matters of public policy must have a foundation in religion, and from their point of view, specifically in Christian faith, and even more specifically in the Bible, so that everything would be drawn from the Bible. Insofar as that is done, then of course it is a violation of the constitutional provision for no establishment of religion, because that would be an
church-state separation. The most visible group in the new right, Moral Majority, lists it #1 among their issues of vital concern. Still, violating the principle of church-state separation is the most frequently heard criticism.
That's the argument of people who have the last, they're clinging to a last straw. They're trying to say that we ought not to have a right to get involved because we're a Christian. But the fact of the matter is, because you're an individual and a citizen of the United States of America, and because you happen to be a Christian and those Christian views influence your thinking, are you suggesting, or do these suggest, that we not have a right to speak our mind?
Dr. Pennell calls the new Christian right a grassroots movement with no small group of national leaders.
It was unpopular for him to do that with some people. As a matter of fact, he picked up some political liability.
Nevertheless, Reverend Jerry Falwell, head of Moral Majority, has emerged as the most prominent figure. And when he speaks from his pulpit to a national TV audience on politics or politicians, some critics rest their case.
I think that the people are waiting for somebody with courage to lead them, and I think they will stand up with us when we do that. I believe that we have that kind of a president, and I thank God for our president. I think we have some men like that in the Congress. I think we have some cabinet members like that. I think we have some preachers like that. I think we have some lay people like that.
Voters carried a decidedly more conservative attitude to the polls last year, and the Christian right and its critics agree. Measuring the effect of the Christian movement on the national elections is difficult, but that's where the agreement stops.
I don't believe we'd have a conservative Congress or a conservative president or a conservative government today had it not been for the influence of the Christians.
Mr. Reagan's election did not depend upon the Moral Majority and related groups. It now appears that he would have won that election even if they had never existed. I think that is probably true. And the sensibility that the administration has of that is reflected in the fact that the new administration did not leap immediately to appoint persons endorsed by these groups to high posts in the administration.